Alan Boston here, playing 2-4 stud at Full Tilt Poker. All right, so here we go. I have 6s with a 7, what I just completed. 2 guys limped ahead of me, which indicates that they don't have pairs, so I took free reign to, well, you know what, I'm going to raise this here, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. To me, indicated they don't have any pairs, so I raised my 6s with a 7, which has all kinds of cute possibilities, especially with 6, 7 of clubs in the hole. Now on the turn, the ace-9 of diamonds leads out, almost assuredly a 4 flush, and I raised to knock my opponent out behind me, because his money's already in there, so I might as well try to get him out and give myself a better chance to win with 2 6s. So now I just hope my 6s are good. Hopefully he doesn't have the king of diamonds in the hole. In fact, he just went ahead and folded, which is bizarre, but means he had absolute 0. He was just representing an ace, representing aces when he hit the ace, and our raise worked out well there. Now a jack raises. Now I have 9s with a 6. And a jack raising here with so much limping going on would tend to indicate that he has jacks. So there is no reason for me to play 9s with a 6. I just fold it. Had I had 9s with a king there, we would probably go ahead and re-raise it because overcards and stud are crucial. Live overcards and stud play very, very well. Because when you hit him, let's say I re-raise 9s with a king there and he does in fact have jacks with, let's say, a 7. And now at some point I hit a king. I get to check raise him and win extra bets. So live overcards and stud are always playable and always re-raisable, actually. You can aggressively play them, especially when you have an ace kicker. Of course, that's the highest overcard. So you'd want to aggressively play any pair with a live ace kicker. You can re-raise it in 3 because power-wise it's not the favorite, but money-wise it is the favorite. And let me see if I can explain that. Because of that possibility of getting a check raise in, 2 7s with an ace is a money favorite against 2 jacks and some other card. 2 jacks is a better hand, but 2 7s with the ace will generate the most revenue because you're going to check raise when you hit your ace. And therefore you can actually re-raise 7s with an ace against a jack, even if you know they have jacks. So you can keep that in mind. Live overcards in 3 are crucial, but they must be live. They can't be dead because it gives you less chance to make the hidden 2 pair. Hidden 2 pair works well in stud for those future check raises. Check raising's fun. To old stud players, it's a lot of fun because it has a good aesthetic feel to it, and it sickens the other human. It just makes them feel like, I guess owned would be the young word for kids, but they're usually owned when they're check raised, and wow, the buried aces looks like it did very well here. Legs on earth, that's some name. He quit. All right, we're playing 4-handed, and I have 7-9 jack, but an 8 and 10 acting behind me kind of kills my hand, so I just kind of fold it, and they all folded. Again, in a 2-4 game, all this folding is very, very, very weak. Now I'm low with an 8 deuce in the hole. If anyone raises, I'm just going to give this up because my hand has no future. I don't have any overcards to their hand, and but it went checked by the queen jack. So I'm going to bet because they told me they don't have a pair, so my pair is good. And he called and he hit a king, but I made 8s and deuces. So now it's an easy bet, and hopefully he didn't start. Can he raise me? So if he catches nothing here in 5, I'm going to raise him, except he caught a 10. Which is not good, but we'll call anyway. And we have to call the river because there's too much out there. And he has nothing. And that worked out well. Had he raised in 3, it would have been very hard for me to continue on with that hand because there's almost no hand I could beat, or no hand that my hand would play well against. So again, his limping in 3 cost him the pot. So you must remember to raise your hands in 3. In 3, I mean the first 3 cards. Again, 3, 6, 8 isn't a hand, so we fold. Again, my chance of winning that hand after he check raised me with king, queen, jack, and catching a 10 were kind of bleak, but there was too much money in the pot, so we just pay it off, and if he beats you, he beats you, but there's too much money out there to fold, so you call, and occasionally you get surprised like we did, and the money goes our way. And we smile. So smile for the camera, hey. Alan, how much did you sit down with here with a hundy? Someone's asking me if I sat down with 100. And I just misspelled sir because I'm on a computer I'm not familiar with. The guy's name's $100 bills. I'll just say it was in your honor. He's named $100 bills. He asked me if I sat down with 100. Yeah, so doing work, I see. Yes. He just started playing stud last night. He said he just started playing stud last night. And I'm going to answer, it is the best game to learn. It entails every, if I could spell it would help. If I could type, actually, I'm not used to this typer here. Every poker concept. Watch for Boston's teaching videos coming soon to a table near you. All right, ace 5-7. I have nothing. Yeah, I like interacting. As a pro in full tilt, I'm big on interacting with the players. I feel our job as Red Pros is to make the experience more comfortable for the players, make it fun for the players. And so I answer every and all question there is. I try to teach. I think at Full Tilt Advertise, learn, chat, and play with the pros, and I definitely try to live by that. And I never shut up anyway, so it's easy for me to talk incessantly and babble on. And hey, so would you play private tournaments? Let me just answer. He's asked me if I'll play private tournaments, and I'm going to answer after the World Series of Poker. I shall have more time. So yes, then. So I'm big at talking, and anyone that's been on here with me knows that that I am very free to answer every and all question and talk about anything from sports to gambling. Deuce 5 Queen again. I have absolutely nothing here. I've been folding a bunch of hands here as I've talked about chatting with people. I've had absolutely nothing. I had Ace Queen Jack one hand, but there were a bunch of high cards out. And let me talk about 3 high cards in stud. Actually, 3 high cards and 3 in stud is a hand that many people raise. But what cards improve your hand when you have 3 high cards, but other high cards? So eventually your board is going to look like King Queen Jack or Queen Queen Jack or King Jack 10 or Ace King Jack, and you're not going to get any action anyway. So you're better off just folding it unless you're in late position trying to pick up the antes. 3 high cards early on in 7-card stud is not a good hand. All right, here I have Queen 9-5 of spades with a queen and a 9 and a spade out. It is not a hand, so I fold. Many would play that hand because it's the 3 flush, but the 3 flush had one of them dead, and both my cards to make pairs were dead. And someone just asked me something here in the chat. Hey, so would you play? One second here. I'm sorry about this. I have to try to read that. What the hell? All right, I have Ace Queen Deuce, nothing, so I'm folding, and I'm trying to read this chat here, which I'm not too good at because I'm not. So you're not playing a 24 plus 2 tonight, Alan? No, I'm not. No, I am playing live. Okay, a deuce will be bringing in here. I have a king up, which is the high card, and I can definitely try to steal the antes here, but I just choose to fold it while I get myself in trouble. In case someone decides to go with my hand, I have King 10-6, which is not a hand at all. So that 3 flush earlier, let me talk about that one more time with the Queen 9 deuce, Queen 9 3 of spades. There was a deuce of spades out, which isn't so bad. 1 spade out isn't really inhibiting your chance of making a flush too much. But there was a 9 and a queen out. So if I whiffed the flush, my chances of making a pair were really negated. So the hand was really dead. And when you play draws, you want to have live cards. So 3 cards out of 3 that were out hurt my hand. So there was no sense continuing on with that hand. So you just fold before you get yourself in trouble by hitting a spade or hitting like a 10. So now you have Queen 10-9. So now you got like a 3 straight and a 3 flush and all kinds of overpair possibilities. And you can just imagine ways of going with this hand that are all not relevant. 3-5-9, obviously not a hand. We just fold. The strategy in 3, once again, is to try to play the best hand or the best pair or the big pair, or try to play a very live draw. And that 3-9 Queen of Spades was not a live draw, as one of the flush cards and both of the pair cards were out. So we ditched it. As we're going to ditch Queen 9-5 here, it's nothing resembling a hand. When I played stud, we've had many good questions thrown my way. In particular, that they talk about how they miss value betting the river, and they hate themselves for it when they miss that bet. And I talked about that on an earlier video. On this one, I'm not sure. When it's pair over pair on the river, you must bet that one pair. And it's on a prior video when I talked about it. Because when you have pair over pair, if you don't bet that pair, you can't win a bet in the river. And when they only have one pair, you actually miss a bet for that reason. So you always bet one pair when you know it's good on 6. You must bet it on the river. All right, so I'm low with a 10, with 10s with an ace. There's an ace out, unfortunately, because this would really be a good hand. But there's 2 queens and 2 kings. Someone asked me if I cashed. Yes, I cashed. I finished 63rd out of 770 in the 1500 horse. Now I catch an ace, and I'm going to go for a check raise here against the ace-9 of clubs who checked. So now I'm just going to bet it because there's no reason to check anymore because he obviously has nothing. And maybe he made 2 threes here and decided to call, and now I got a really scary board. Here's an example why you don't play 3 big cards, because how can you call me with ace, queen, jack, 10? So happens I had aces and 10, so I already had him killed. Deuce 3-8, not a hand. Luckily we weren't low, so I'll tell him I had aces and 10s and 4. I tend to have the show hand option on there, so I show people what my hands are so they can maybe learn from it or ask questions about it. But the most relevant question is that one I talked about before, where value betting the river, and what hands do you bet in the river, and we get into all kinds of talk about what hands to avoid betting and what hands to bet. Usually, when in doubt, just bet. Just in case you miss a bet, you don't want to. When you absolutely know you're up against a 4 flush and you absolutely know your opponent will not raise unless he has you dead, then, yeah, when in doubt, just bet your one pair in the river. And unless you know the guy won't pay you off with one pair and will only raise you when he makes his flush, then you can check. But you have to really be sure that you know the player well to maybe blow the chance at winning a bet. Because limit poker is about how you win extra bets and how you save bets, especially saving bets, which is why we try to play tight in 3, because we want to save all those bets later on. Here I have an ace up with 3 queen in the hole, not a hand, but with the queen acting behind me and an 8 and 4 acting behind me, since I have a queen in the hole, it's a good chance the queen doesn't have queens, except the king raised, so I don't have to worry about it. I just fold. But let's say it got folded to me. With the queen behind me and me having a queen in the hole, it's not likely he has queens, so there's a very good chance I could just raise this and win it in 3. It'd be hard for the queen to call with, let's say, 2 4s or 2 5s in the hole with me raising there with an ace up. It wouldn't be hard for him, but it would be hard for him to continue in 5 if he doesn't improve. So it would have been a good chance to try to attack the antes in that situation with me having a queen in the hole and only the queen behind me that looked like a threatening card. So you can look for things like that when you're trying to decide whether to raise in 3 to try to steal the antes, or, you know, sometimes you're not even stealing. Sometimes ace high is just the best hand, and you think you're stealing, but you're not. All right, deuce 3-7, not good in any hand, any game, except maybe Raz, and it's borderline in that. But that's for another teaching session. The game has gone very well so far. Really no blips in the armor. And let's see, queen 10-4 is not a hand, so I fold. All right, I have a 4 up and ace 8 of clubs in the hole. There's 3 clubs out, and really no reason to do anything with this hand but fold it. Never ever get cute in stud. There's no reason to. It just makes life difficult later on. Okay, here we go, 6, 7, 8. This is kind of an interesting hand, and the key to 6, 7, 8 is how many 5s and 9s are out. And in this instance, there are no 5s and 9s out, but there are 2 10s out. So one half of my straight is kind of shut off. There's a raising queen, with an ace behind him. Most players will play 6, 7, 8 here, but I opt to continue my tight mode here, and I'll just ditch it. And now the ace re-raises, and I look like a genius because with 2 10s out, those are 2 cards that I may need should I hit a 9 to win this pot. Especially with both players having higher pairs than I might actually hit. 6, 7, 8 is kind of a very hard hand to play, and really has no future. Even if I hit a 9 there, you know, I still have to hit another perfect card. And in this instance, I don't have 6 left. I'd have 4 5s and only 2 10s left to hit to make the best hand. So I opted to just ditch it and make my life simple. Most people would play that hand, and I think they'd be wrong in doing so. They'd be gambling just a little bit too much. They'd be gambling appropriately. They'd be gambling with a hand that could be real live to win. But let's say someone raised a 3 flush there and now caught a 4 flush in the turn, and you make your 4 straight. Well, they're drawing at a much better hand than you are, and you have no way to beat it. So even with the 2 hearts there and no 5s and 9s out, I chose to fold it. Someone's asking me when the World Series ends. Okay, there I was low with 2 dead cards in the hole and an ace bet, and I just folded. Now I have split queens with an ace, and there's an ace just calling. So with the ace just calling, I'm going to complete it here. Almost assuredly have the best hand because the ace would raise with the best hand. And we see what happens for these cards behind it. The Jack of Hearts called, and now a king re-raises, which is not good for me. Now normally I would continue on with this hand, but with the ace up, it makes it hard for me to make aces up, or much harder for me to make aces up. It kills 1/3 of my cards. So I'm just going to fold to the re-raising king because I'm behind. And I'm behind with a very limited chance at making the best hand. There's a very good lesson there. Most players would just maybe even 4-bet you there. But with the ace, if the ace wasn't out, I'd continue on because I'd have 3 live aces to hit and 2 live queens to try to make the best hand. But with that ace out, that's 20% of my hands, 20% of my cards that could make me the best hand that are knocked out. So I opted for the tighter side, and I folded. And I think that's a very, very good hand to wrap this up on. So for now, Alan Boston signing off here from 2-4 Stud at Full Tilt Poker.